A dark theory about Dexter Original Sin could explain why Tanya Martin never appeared in the original Dexter series. The cast of Original Sin features quite a few returning names from the original show like Vince Masuka, Angel Batista, and Maria LaGuerta. There are only a handful of entirely new characters at Miami Metro, one of whom is Tanya Martin. Since she was never mentioned in the original series, the prequel show will have to find a way to remove Tanya sometime between when Dexter Original Sin takes place and when the original show began. Now, it seems that Original Sin could have a very inventive way of taking Tanya out. After Original Sin Episode 4, everyone is trying to find Jimmy Powell's killer. The detectives of Miami Metro have very few leads, and even their first theory that Jimmy was killed by the cartel to punish his father, Judge Powell, is starting to look incorrect. One theory suggests that they're looking in the wrong direction and that they should be looking internally, specifically at Sarah Michelle Gellar's Tanya Martin. Several people on Reddit, like user Feihe0208, have theorized that Tanya Martin could be behind the kidnapping and subsequent murder of Jimmy Powell. The theory has some merit. It suggests that, like Dexter, Tanya was drawn to forensics because she also has a dark passenger or at least an obsession with violence and death. At some point, Tanya would have started killing, and her knowledge of forensic work would have helped her remove any evidence that would tie her to any of her crimes. Tanya also knew exactly how much force cutting through a child's finger would require, which would have helped her do the deed herself. The theory that Tanya is a serial killer would also fit with what Original Sin has revealed about the investigation into Jimmy's death. The entire case has been quite confusing. Harry and other detectives first thought the cartel could be involved in Jimmy's death. The way his body was displayed, however, and the fact that the kidnappers never demanded a ransom thoroughly confused them. It might be that Tanya specifically targeted Jimmy because of her knowledge of law enforcement. She knew Miami Metro would assume it was the cartel's doing, thus making it even harder for her to be caught. If Tanya does turn out to be Jimmy Powell's killer, she might end up being the final person Dexter kills at the end of Original Sin Season 1. For each of the 8 seasons of Dexter, he would be hunting a serial killer throughout the season. It would only be in the season finale, however, that Dexter would actually catch his prey and kill them. It happened with every Dexter serial killer, from the ice truck killer to the brain surgeon. Original Sin may be waiting to give Dexter a chance to kill Tanya until the season finale. Tanya Martin being Jimmy Powell's killer wouldn't be a perfect choice, however, as it would open up a massive plot hole for the original Dexter. If there had been another serial murderer hiding in plain sight at Miami Metro, Dexter almost certainly would have mentioned it when he was lamenting how James Dokes was the only person who could tell he was odd. At the very least, he would have mentioned Tanya when Dokes was believed to be the Bay Harbor butcher and when he became responsible for the deaths of 2 different co-workers. There's another reason that the fact that Tanya was never mentioned in the original Dexter is so strange. Tanya is Dexter's mentor in forensic science, but if she proves to be a killer, she could also become his mentor in another way. Dexter usually has conversations with his victims and tries to learn from them, and he would likely do the same with Tanya. If she gave Dexter some pearls of wisdom about how to balance being a killer when hiding in plain sight, it would be even stranger that Dexter never thought to reminisce about her advice. There is also the chance that Tanya didn't kill Jimmy Powell and that Original Sin will have to find a different way to write her out of the show. Some theories have even suggested that Tanya will find out who killed Jimmy and that she'll be killed to protect the real murderer. At this point in Original Sin, it's simply too early to tell for sure whether Tanya Martin is a killer. One thing is for certain, however, the show will have to deal with her in some fashion.